This podcast is presented by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Welcome to Shift into Better Health, a podcast series for the National Diabetes Prevention Program's Lifestyle Change Program for folks who want to improve their health, have more energy, and prevent type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. The Lifestyle Change Program is proven to work. We're glad you're here with us today on the road to better health. I'm your host, Captain Jack, radio personality and former professional truck driver. Each episode in this series is led by drivers for drivers and will cover a topic from the Lifestyle Change Program. We'll talk about how to tackle challenges professional drivers face and how to eat better, exercise more, and manage stress on the road. So you'll arrive at your destination a healthier you, faster and easier. Welcome back. In our last episode, we learned about why being more active is important to professional drivers and what to do to prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Today, we're going to focus on why burning more calories than you take in is key to losing weight. I recently sat down with two guests to talk about ways drivers can cut calories and increase their physical activity on the road and at home. My first guest was Julie Schwartz, a health and wellness coach with over 25 years of experience helping clients, including drivers. Also joining me was Daryl Taylor, a Dallas-based professional driver and staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, who has found ways to make exercise a regular part of his routine. To get things going, I asked Julie about the role calories play in whether we lose weight or gain weight.
When we're trying to lose weight, it's a combination of cutting calories, where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck, and adding exercise and physical activity.
Gotcha. A lot of drivers ask this question: how many calories should I eat in a day?
For the most part, if we're talking to an adult male, you're looking at anywhere from about 2,000 to 2,500 calories or so in a day. Some people need less. One of the ways that you can figure out what you need is to keep a detailed, accurate food record for 1 to 2 weeks. A lot of people use apps on their phones now, and they can track how many calories they need through that. It will give you a pretty good idea. So maybe you track and you're finding that on average you're eating and drinking about 2,000 calories in a day, and your scale is not budging. You probably need 1,500 then to lose weight of about a pound a week.
I use the food and activity tracking app on my phone. What I like about this app is that it lets me record the number of calories I take in and the calories I burn when I'm active. I can look up the nutritional value of foods, so it also helps me to make healthier choices. This is how I made the change to start burning more calories than I take in. What about calories burned? How do I know how many I'm burning in a day?
How many calories you burn really depends on how often you're exercising and how often you're moving, how intense that is. Are you strolling along like you're walking your dog and stopping a lot? Or are you getting that heart rate up, getting your breathing going, working up a little bit of a sweat? How long you go is also important. If you are using an app to track your food and or your activity, sometimes they'll use your body weight and some formulas. Your body weight factors into how many calories you're burning and the type of activity you're doing. It actually is about the same calorie burn for somebody to walk a mile, jog a mile, or run a mile. What makes the difference is if we talk about time, you might walk a mile in 20 to 30 minutes. You might jog 2 miles. You might run 5. That speed and intensity does make a difference on the calorie burn. A caveat that I always tell people is on those apps, when you're more active or active at all, those apps will tell you that you burned 500 calories, say, so you can add 500 calories more food. Ignore that. Just go with those daily allotted calories. That burn is a bonus. You're trying to lose weight. Let that burn work for you.
You mentioned using apps to track the foods we're eating. How do we know how many calories are in those foods?
One way is the nutrition facts panel on packaged goods. It tells you how many calories, how many servings, and what is a serving. Because sometimes a serving isn't really a portion. A portion is the amount of it that we eat. You can also look up online the different foods. And there's also some nice references, small pocket guides that are real convenient We can also look up the foods that are served at restaurants. If it's a chain restaurant, that information is now on the menu.
So, Daryl, how have you reduced the number of calories you eat?
Well, for me, it was just had these good meals to go on the road with me, and prepackaged meals for like 3 or 4 days. I think that's how much my refrigerator would take in the truck. And trying to have everything balanced out, where I'm eating like 4 ounces a serving, and have my vegetables and whatnot, and pretty much stuck to that. But for snacks, I also will have my fruits. And what I found myself doing is when I get sleepy, I would start snacking more in the bad snacks, like chips and so on. So I cut that out. Right now, if it is any snacks while I'm driving, it's grapes and strawberries, more than likely. Start consuming a lot of water and cut out sodas and salt.
Do you count your calories?
To be honest, never came across my mind to count the calories. The only thing that I did was I knew the portions in which I eat grown man portions. Big plate, big everything, until I'm fat full. Now, once I start feeling myself full, I stop.
How do you know the right portions?
The containers that I use for my meals, they're sectioned off, and it came with like a basic picture of what servings go right here. Your meat go right here in the little part, and then in the biggest section is your vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, that's handy. I use everyday objects to eyeball serving size. 3 ounces of meat is like the palm of your hand or a deck of cards. Daryl mentioned snacks a minute ago. Let's talk about some options that are low in calories.
One of the ways to cut back is choosing more healthful foods at your meals and also your snacks. Think of a snack as maybe that opportunity to get that high quality food that's also tasty to you that you're missing at your meals. Maybe you're getting plenty of vegetables at your meals, but maybe not some fruit. So it might be looking for pre-made cut up bowls of fruit. It might be getting pieces of fruit. Bananas are always available. You might look for the light popcorn, carrot sticks, celery sticks, and maybe even a dip of hummus would be a nice healthy snack. And that's a nice option as well. However, you got to watch out for nuts because those can be a great healthy snack, but they can add up. So small handful.
Those are some great low-fat, high-fiber options for snacks. Calories taken in. One thing I recommend is to grab the no sugar added, fresh cut fruit cups. Let's turn to calories taken out. Julie, how can drivers start burning more calories than they take in?
The biggest challenge that professional drivers have, because I don't know a better way to say it, you're kind of stuck behind the wheel sitting for hours. It might be that you're parked for a little bit and you take a 5 or 10 minute walk around a parking lot or on the sidewalk, even if it's a stroll, can help your body just align better, help get rid of that stress. When you get to where you're going, take that purposeful walk.
After all those hours of driving, your body is tired. But getting up earlier in the morning and trying to find a way to get those exercises in, either 10 to 15 minutes, is crucial. As long as you get them in, that's the key point.
It is important to get some exercise in during the week, at least 3 or 4 days. If you have knee problems, going up a hill can be less impactful on your knees. Watch coming down the hill. If you happen to be by a parking garage and it's not a busy time, going up the ramp and being cautious coming back down, going up and down steps if that's available. Even if you only have a few steps, just going up and down, up and down. You can do some squats, some sit-ups, some push-ups, some lunges. Anything that's going to get that intensity up is going to burn more calories. Your heart rate should be really at a level when you're exercising, doing a good burn, where you're having trouble speaking, but you can still carry on somewhat of a conversation. It's just a little bit labored. And even where we're just taking some laps around the truck, you may start off with a stroll, but you might get up to a pretty fast pump in the arms walk and get that heart rate up. It's actually shown to be more effective in bringing your alertness up than even that strongest cup of coffee.
So, Daryl, what things do you do to burn more calories?
I try to book a load where I have to unload the trailer myself. So I was doing a lot of tire loads getting back there in that humidity in Houston, Texas, and sweating off a lot.
It's really about finding those opportunities to move more.
Okay. So what if I want to lose 1 pound per week? Where do I start?
I would say the best way to lose a pound a week is really to cut out about 500 calories a day, or a combination of cutting out and moving more. And moving more is important because maybe the trucker's already exercising or already active. It's that more that needs to happen. So it can be things such as looking for easy ways that you're not going to miss too much. It might be if you regularly drink sodas or sweet tea or specialty coffee type drinks or regular coffee with a bunch of stuff in it. Those can sometimes be easy ways to cut back. They can add up very, very, very quickly. I've actually worked with truckers where we cut out the beverages, and that's all it took. It might be things such as looking at condiments. A small pat of butter is 50 calories. They add up quickly. So, that can go salad dressings. It might also be ordering differently. If you're normally getting fried, order baked or grilled. It's got to be flavorful, but cutting back on that. It might be the sides, adding vegetables that don't have a lot of butter and oil on them. That gives you bulk so you're not hungry, but a fraction of the calories. Do you have desserts frequently? If so, cut out a dessert a day.
I leave the sweets alone. They call my name every time I walk past them. They look at me, I look at them, and I say, you know what, let me keep on moving.
That can be all it takes. Another way might just be having less of what you're eating, smaller portions.
When I'm at home on the weekend, I might grab some golden chicken. I don't get the normal size that I use. I usually get a large everything. I bring it down back to a medium. I don't get the double patty. I get the single patty. Subtle things like that help me maintain my weight, slim down a little bit.
These small steps can add up to big changes, and you're not feeling deprived and you're not feeling hungry.
Talking about smaller portions, I've heard some people say they'll eat smaller meals more frequently throughout the day. Julie, you recommend this approach?
I often get that question. In honesty, the research and evidence shows us that there's no one size fits all. Part of the process is really finding what works for you. We are seeing the research that eating breakfast, lunch, dinner at your breakfast, lunch, dinner time can be helpful. Another strategy to cut out calories is stop eating after dinner.
I try my best to eat at certain times, but being a trucker, that doesn't always pan out. My thing is I try to keep it in between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
That makes a lot of sense. A good reminder to try to limit the late night snacking. Well, as we wrap up this session, I want to ask both of you for any tips or recommendations you'd like to share with drivers on how to burn more calories than they take in. Let's start with you, Daryl.
Find out what your schedule is overall. Whatever your schedule is, you start planning to do some exercise. And on your 30-minute break, get out, walk around your truck a couple of times. If you have access to any kind of weights, I have dumbbells in my truck. You can get out, do a little workout with that for 15 minutes, and then you look at what you're eating. Look at the portions. That's what I do. And always keep a lot of water in your truck. Drink water all day. Those little things would help you formulate your own plan of how to lose weight or to maintain the weight that you're at.
Great. Thanks. Daryl, Julie, any closing thoughts from your end?
Do the thing that's going to work for you. The reality is, from research, maybe 25% of people that are successful at weight loss actually keep food records. The majority of people don't. But what everybody does and has in common is that they create an awareness. So they cut calories by cutting portions. There's always an option. Bringing your food with you on the truck can be great. But if not, then fast food, sit-down restaurants always have options. Don't supersize, kid size can be another way to go. There's always side dishes that aren't fries. So it's really about finding something that works for you that's easy.
That's great advice. Find something that works for you. Well, that's all for today. I'd like to thank Julie and Daryl for joining me and sharing their insights and experiences. Next time, we'll be talking about one of my favorite subjects, sleep, and why it's so important that drivers get enough of it. In the meantime, I encourage you to try one of the strategies Julie and Daryl suggested, like using an app to help you count your calories, choosing smaller portion sizes, and building physical activity into your weekly schedule. Remember that America needs you healthy. Your family needs you healthy. You need to be healthy to continue living this trucking life. We're on this journey together, every mile of the way. For the most accurate health information, visit cdc.gov or call 1-800-CDC-INFO.